how much your background as a filmmaker doing shorts and then music stuff help you to narrate this great story?
So I come from a music background. I've been doing music my whole life since I was a kid, and music, is also storytelling. And especially the visually, I really like to connect and play with music and visuals and stuff. And I've been making different shorts for the last 10 years, probably hundreds. Never releasing them because I don't really know how to release a short, first of all. But just kind of trying different things. Hey, I want to try a horror one. I want to try like a gritty one. We're in Detroit on tour. I want to try a little thing there. We're in Brussels on tour. Hey, let's do something in the, by the water. Just always doing things with friends, and and just playing with the media, and I feel like, and then I started writing about 5-6 years ago, just expressing my stories, trying to figure out how to put them in script form. I did that, and it just kept building and building, and then I got the story, The Birthday Cake, and I met Raul Bermudez, who's co-writer and producer in the film, and he liked the idea, he liked the vision. We had a lot of things in common, and I liked what he was saying about how he saw the story. He appreciated what I was trying to do, kind of show Brooklyn today, certain parts, but then also kind of show, because a lot of times so here, for me, when I moved to Brooklyn like 15 years ago, I would go down all around, explore, and I didn't know, so I would be like, oh, the gangster stuff, that's all gone. But then I started looking a little closer, started meeting some more people, and then I realized, oh no, a lot of these guys, a lot of them moved to Staten Island, but a lot of these guys are still here, and it's different now, but it's very much here. I'll just leave it at that. And then I was able to see, in certain neighborhoods, you see the normal everyday sort of hustle and bustle of the city, and then you start seeing these older guys, and you start putting two and two together, and then you start realizing, seeing the social clubs, you're like, oh my god, these guys are all still the ones that are still around, they're all still here, and it's still very much. And I started seeing what kind of business they're kind of doing today, and this is just from very limited, I don't know, but from the little information I got, I'm like, okay, cool, it's still active. We could actually make a mob movie today in Brooklyn. It's actually possible to do it and still make it feel old school, the stuff that I knew and I remembered. So we kind of put these things together, and then the story I had in my mind, and we just laid it all out.
In
But
a way, I think.
the
Sorry.
important part for me at first was, I'm like, you can't do this anymore in New York. And I just didn't know. I was, like I said, I was in music, but then I realized you could. And once I realized you could, then I had the green light to try.
In a way, the film is a tribute to all those mob movies. We all grew up with those films in America and all over the world. I didn't grow up here, but I grew up in Europe, and I think it's a great tribute. Could you comment on that? Was that something that came to your mind, producing and directing the film?
Absolutely. Like, where did you grow up?
In Spain.
In Spain. Yeah. When I was a kid watching those New York movies, whether it's, Mean Streets or Goodfellas or King of New York, all these different films. It was always, and I grew up in Chicago. I moved to New York in 2015, no, 2005. And when I would watch these movies, there was the energy of the city when they were able to capture it. It was like, it became a main character in the film. You remember when you were younger watching a New York gangster film, you're like, this is very specific. It wasn't like a gangster film in Canada or a gangster film in Greece or wherever. It was very specific, and that flavor, that energy, that essence, the history, there's Ellis Island is right there. This is the hub for so much, and it just, to be able to play in that world was so much fun, and it was so satisfying,
In
you
a
know?
way, I love the character of Gio because he ends up, I mean, he's a new generation. He doesn't relate to the past, but in a way, he's forced to relate to a really rough, violent situation in one night. I mean, and I love the scene when they're all together having dinner, and then the conversation gets a little dangerous, if you want. And
Mm.
I think also for me it was amazing. You got half of Hollywood in the movie, and it's true, and it's your first film, so I think it's something to talk about. If you can
Well,
comment on.
you can relate, being from Spain, I imagine, to take out any of the mob stuff from the film. You know, Gio is somebody going to, his father passed away 10 years ago. They have an anniversary to celebrate his death. He brings, his mother makes him a dessert, a cake to bring to the family as an offering, like everyone does. You go, the family gets together, you sit down, you have a dinner, you know, you talk about the person. It's all, it's something that I've been doing my whole life, and a lot of people can relate to. The mob part is the lining, you know. It's, we can all relate to these sort of stories, and I think, as far as the cast goes, um, you know, it was really important to get the right people to play these roles, and a lot of people came through. I'll give you an example. Penn Badgley, somebody who's a good friend of mine, and we had a band together called Mother with an X, and we toured around everywhere. We put out this record. I've known him for a long time. We've shot little shorts. He's such a creative, and I knew, so I said, Penn, I'm going to make this film. And everybody who's from film, who knows me as a musician, the support that I got is insane. Everybody kept saying, I love when a musician does film. Everybody kept embracing that, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But so people were, I think maybe maybe because if you come from a different, if you come from music, you still have a voice. They know you have a voice. You just have to translate it into this. Maybe that's like an important part.
And
So
you
I
bring a
try.
different sensibility too. There's a different sensibility in the field of music than in the field of the
Yeah.
narrative with words and a script, I think. Right?
Yes,
Maybe.
exactly. No, no, exactly. It's something like that. You know, I felt like, um, everybody took me in. You know, like I said, the actors who have been making films
Welcome,
their
welcome.
whole. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Everyone was really cool, and they were asking me questions, and it was really collaborative and really friendly. And you know, I didn't expect it to be so. Um, I guess like the good kind of collaboration, you know, where everyone really cares. Everyone really cares, even about the details, their backstory, all these amazing things that have to do with this, with the story. You know, like I said, with music, some of the songs take forever to write. You know, some of them have a lot of writers. Some of them come from dark places, you know, bright places. With film, it seems like everyone just was there to help lift up the story together, and everyone brought something unique to the table, and it was so fun to be on set every day and watch everyone do their thing.
What I think is amazing is that the mob, the Italian American community, not all of them, I mean, the mob within that community, they have an incredible sense of belonging, of family, of traditions, of rituals, of respecting the figure of the mother and being
Mm.
faithful, all these things that are values that are really wonderful. And then they have the other side, the dark side of crime and corruption and whatever. But I think it's part of the history of human beings. I love that's why I love the film, because you explore the qualities of this community. They're
Mm.
very human at the same time. And if you can comment on that.
Yeah, yeah, it's, you know, like you said, we can all relate to a lot of these things, you know. Gio's mom, Sophia, it's the anniversary of her husband's death from 10 years ago. She's wearing all, you know, all black, you know, and, you know, these are, again, like, so my parents are from Greece, and a lot of the culture is interchangeable with, you know, Italy and some other places in Europe around there. And you know, I grew up with a lot of Italian friends and, you know, Bulgarian
Yeah.
friends, Albanian, you know, and a lot of these things, they kind of just mix. I remember when they made that movie Big Fat Greek Wedding a long time ago. I remember a
Yeah.
lot of my I remember a lot of people saying that you could change the word Greek to anything, to so many different countries around there, and it's pretty much the same ball game, you know. So so a lot of the traditions, the family traditions, and the way it works, and the dancing and the celebrations, they're very similar. So, you know, and with the Italian mob, you know, from coming to this country years and years ago, and, you know, starting you know, doing what they have to do to survive and get ahead. That's just a part of history. It's just the way it worked, you know. And you're an immigrant in this country, and you got to do what you got to do to get ahead. America's a casino, you know. It's not good.
That's right. Totally.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
there's going to be people who want to bet big, you know.
Yeah.
And but
So
it all comes down to family and loyalty and taking care of your own, and that can get tricky when, you know, when things are corrupt.
yeah. Listen, my last question, if you can describe the film in few words so we can use your voiceover to introduce the movie. And then we're done. We leave you alone.
The movie takes place in one night. Giovanni has to deliver a cake to his uncle's house on the anniversary of his father's death from 10 years ago, and along the way he starts to learn what happened to his father. And by the end of the night, he has to come face to face with the reality of his family and his family's history.